Hey, what's good, Afro? Hey, Afro, you know they have to get you, Afro. So we need you to make a video in the morning, okay? To prove your point, okay?
Anti-Afro Spingallies. Here I am, remix. Here I am doing a video. I'm doing a video. You asked. Here's a video. But wait, he's got more and so do I.
Hey, Afro, make sure that deposit come in the morning, okay? Oh, boy. Make sure that. Hey, Afro, make sure the deposit come in now. They don't clip this shit, though. Send that bread in, Afro. I'm finna do some work. Shout out to Afro.
Listen, remix, you forgot to tell me. Remix, I'm doing a video because you wanted me to do a video. You said it. But you forgot to tell me what plan do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the $300 to $500 a month plan? Do you want to be on the $500 lump sum plan? Or do you want to be on the Conscious Energy Supreme 820 plan? You got to tell me what plan you want to be on that we can get this going. Let's keep this going, remix. Here's your chance. Just tell me what plan you want to be on. Hey, everybody, in all seriousness, I'm doing a video. And guess what? The most important part of me doing videos. Yes, it's related to this. They're going to get you, anti-Afro. They've been going to get me since 2018. But guess what? I have yet to get got, but they got get. This is Umar Johnson's boilerplate. Listen carefully. Things have never changed. Take a look at the screen. This is what's happening. This is what's always happened. So, here's the thing you have to really ponder. What in the world sense would it make for commotion to be generated over an irrelevant person who's done for? There would be no commotion. Here's a situation. We've done things the way we've always done things. We are not in a demon rotation. As you see, what Umar Johnson set out to accomplish in terms of trying to see who can get to go along with his demon rotation, that's what Umar has always done. There's no difference. And that has been fail. That's an epic fail. Just like let me see your handcuffs was an epic fail. Now, let's take you down memory lane. In case you have forgotten, let me see your handcuffs was the original demon infused. Let me see your handcuffs set out to do just what Umar Johnson did, and she failed. Stay tuned and I will return.
I'm tired of the bullshit. William Clay, Gerald Palmer, Mukasa Africa, Lenore Honor, Monty Woodgrain, Andrea Stewart. I need home addresses. I need job addresses. Find these 6 people for me, please. I'm out.
How do we stop the harassment? How do we stop the harassment? I'm asking for your help. I know y'all saying this. Pay her no mind. Give her no energy. I've had this happen to me before. It's happening again. I pay her no mind. She is still going to come after me and other people. Stargate is still getting videos made about her. Binary is still getting calls made to his job. Even if I stop, she's going to keep doing it. And then she's going to do it to other people. How do we stop the harassment? That's what I want to know. How do we stop the harassment? And those of you who are telling me they are no mind, you don't have your picture up on the goddamn YouTube. And they don't know your real name. We see Stargate face. We see Binary face. They see mine and Nikki. Do y'all not get that part? Come on now. I got 10 videos about myself in the last week and a half. Nikki has gotten like what, 20 in the last week and a half? Beautiful Bernice got what, 5 or 6? Glorion got 7? What? Binary got like what, 3, and Max got like 2. Cause she does a rotation. It's just that I'm frustrated. I wish you men like you, listen to us. Damn, please. Shit. Leave me alone.
Hence, there's no point to jumping in on a demon rotation. There's every bit relevance to using your checklist and making sure business is taken care of. You need not worry what I was doing. I mean, I can't imagine why in the world would anybody be concerned about an irrelevant person and what they're doing off YouTube or not doing on YouTube, however you want to put it. Here's the deal. I don't do demon rotation. It's the same outcome. Failure. Married to a convicted child abuser. Failure. Failure to hide the truth about your miserable ass life. Failure. Trying to come for folks you ain't got shit on. Failure. Let me tell you what happens with that. It boomerangs every single time. Let these demons rotate into the failure spectrum. This is what Let Me See Your Handcuffs did. This is what Umar Johnson did. Let me remind everybody about Umar Johnson and how he failed. I don't want to knock anybody out there using public transportation. Say you have no other option. You're working, you're feeding your family, you're taking care of business. I'm not here to rag on anybody who's hopping on a bus. But for somebody to get up here on a world stage and claim to be the most requested scholar, to be so worldly and asserting to be erudite, are you serious? He's the most requested scholar, but he's on the bus. I really hate to use Yahweh Ben Yahweh as an example. Who else? Malachi York as an example. Did they have problems with transportation? Were they on a bus? They had people who supported them, who, quote, followed them. They never had transportation problems. They made enough money to at least get a car. They didn't have to beg somebody to rent a car for them. They could afford their own car. If you're going to be a scammer, if you're going to go out like that, if this is what you're committed to doing, at least live in some relative comfort. Let me remind you, Umar Johnson lost to Don because of who? Anti-fraud warriors. The update on that. Umar Johnson didn't even have the guts to show up and fight the case. And then sending the recent mailings to where? A vacant building. That's what the court record says. Like I've said, abandoned bomb shelter. If Umar isn't getting catnaps in there, that roach and rat infested abandoned bomb shelter, he's living with his mother, dipping in and out, sleeping in cars, getting people to rent cars for him. Imagine that, being among the 200 plus people who deluged Rev G's email when Umar Johnson told them to harass him. And this was during one incident that Umar Johnson, when I say this is one incident, there were other times, but this particular incident, 200 plus people bombarded Rev G's email because Umar Johnson said, I want you to send these messages to Gerald Palmer. One of the people in that email list got a hold of Rev G and apologized for what happened a couple years back and said, I'm in trouble. Umar had been renting cars with their credit card like they were doing it. This person and another person, and Umar was not taking the cars back on time. If anybody knows about renting a car, they can call the police and it's going to fall on the primary person. And we all know this wasn't legitimate legal renting, because if you go up to the counter, it's your credit card that you're putting up there as the primary renter. They ask you, are there any additional drivers on this contract? You tell them no. and they get pulled over, that can be considered stealing the car, and they can come after you. And if you don't take the car back on time, it's going to fall on you. It's not going to fall on Umar Johnson. Are you serious? And we know he constantly looks for people to do things like this for him. This is someone you think has succeeded, who beat AFW. He has to ask other people to rent cars for him, and he doesn't take them back on time. Oh, people, come on. This is what Umar Johnson is up to. And begging for chump change to stay in dusty motels. You call that success? Umar Johnson gets his soundbite bumming immediate gratification when he goes and does mini hyena yelps. Whatever issue comes up, Umar wants to say something about it, but what does that represent in reality? It doesn't mean anything. Just the same, those who get on here and talk and talk and talk, it's just that. You can stay in your demon rotation. I don't need to be in your demon rotation. You can do your own damn demon rotation. We're going to continue doing what we're doing, defending our rights, providing people with resources and support who also are in any situation where people are harassing them, slandering them. We're not giving you content. Go ahead and continue on your demon rotation. Soon enough, let me see your handcuffs can tell you that. You end up burying yourselves all on your own. As for those out there who claim, and I'm not talking about you, Conscious Energy, there are a few out there who claim they don't get the cops involved. Well, let me tell you, we have a lot of emails that say just the opposite, but we don't need to come on here and say, hey, you so-and-so, John Doe or Jane Doe, here's the email. It doesn't matter, because we know a lot of the things that are said for a very specific purpose. It's been that way since the first couple of weeks I came to YouTube. All of these zany messages and these emails and these posts on AAS page that are held, trying to do what? Trying to get me to react to what they're saying. I don't consider it to have any relevance. The harder you try, the bigger fool you make out of yourself, and you will eventually self-implicate and make our to-do list longer. We don't grow tired of what we're doing, but these demons grow tired because they have to keep elevating and elevating. They have to go to the point where they are violating the law in order to try to get a reaction. You're not getting any reaction out of me. It's demon rotation. Let me see your handcuffs didn't know what to do with herself any more than Umar Johnson did. Umar Johnson is facing legal consequences, and not just by the situation with Don. Don was a person who didn't have steady housing. Some of you were calling him homeless in a derogatory manner, but he beat Umar Johnson, the supposed most requested scholar. Oh, yes, people. And there have been others who have suffered insurmountable defeat. It is defeating. It is humiliating to come onto YouTube and act like your shit don't stink and everybody's beneath you when you're married to a convicted child abuser. That makes sense. Why he wants Lennon's family to be like his, why he wants Gerald's family to be like his, why he had to talk about people's past criminal history. Well, the person supposedly married and living with a convicted child abuser. But we know the truth, people. We know that a blow-up doll, a deflated blow-up doll, was preferable in that home, because the deflated blow-up doll can't slap a child across the face with the fly swatter and can't slap a child so hard that she falls off the bed and she's not taken to the doctor. She's sent to school. Thank God. I mean, what more of a humiliating, epic fail situation could you be in? And it can't be resolved by buying a Range Rover while you owe the federal government, IRS, $133,000. I'm just giving you a few examples. And we have hit the mark with Umar. Umar will go down to that permit office and knows he will file for that permit without AFW having to say anything, because he knows he's stepping and he's marching to the beat of our drum. We were the ones that got Umar Johnson to pay his child support. And we want to give credit to Chief X because he was part of that whole process. Umar Johnson's child support has been updated since October. He's doing his hyena yelps specifically to pay child support. And Chief X was on his ass about that. We were the ones that made sure Umar Johnson was put on Front Street for not paying child support, and he has been paying since October. So that tells you why Umar Johnson's working so hard at these hyena yelps only to pay child support. Well, he should be paying child support, but he's in no better situation than the freak that's married to a child abuser. Remember, when you have a tax lien, that's public knowledge. It's not confidential. All of the women that these losers thought that they could manipulate and run circles around ended up putting their asses to shame. It's humiliating. That's why they're trying so hard to do a distract, react approach. No, it goes all the way back to Umar Johnson. This is the crap that Umar Johnson does. Vacant building, mails returned, building deemed vacant. Not people weren't there. Not somebody answered and say, okay, I'll give it to him. Vacant building, abandoned bomb shelter. That's a situation. Epic, catastrophic failure. Umar Johnson is living hyena yelp to hyena yelp, just like some people have to live paycheck to paycheck. That's the way of the world. But there are no victories for Umar Johnson. So what? He gets immediate gratification temporarily because somebody's listening to him. But in the end, he is obligated, and he's not meeting those obligations without a very, very extraordinary effort. And the main obligation is paying child support because he knows that driver's license is going to be revoked. Or Umar is trying to avoid an arrest warrant. But let me tell you something. These are Umar Johnson's circumstances. The intolerable part was Umar Johnson coming onto the international airwaves, dispensing information that was extremely dangerous. We have a right to address that. Now, Umar Johnson coming out here telling the world that we have to de-exist 10% of our black youth and all this other madness. This is a person who's trying to claim he's a professional, he's a psychologist, he's a family therapist. No. We have a right to speak up. Now, there are segments of these populations who think it is a home run. You're home free as long as you target another black person. There is nothing anybody could ever do to get me to think like that. And most definitely, nobody could ever try to force me to change my value system. It is very easy for me to be done with the situation. But being done with the situation is unrelated to me pursuing my rights. So being done with the situation doesn't equate with me running around YouTube following after people I have no intention or desire to have any engagement or conversation with. On the other hand, we see who has an extremely difficult time detaching or being done with the situation. They're the ones stalking others all over YouTube. I'm one of the people that they stalk, go to other pages, changing their screen names, trying to get me to react to them, leaving messages on AAS channels, sending me emails. You're wasting your time. You're only creating a track record. That's what Catherine Brown did. She sent a whole year worth of emails, and I responded to 2 a year later. Who is the aggressor? Who is the harasser? Who was saying what? How many hours long live streams are you running saying my name, issuing threats, whether they're veiled or direct threats, and then turn around and claim you're being harassed? And what about the 3rd grade playground special? So-and-so doesn't like me because AAS tell them not to and make them hate me. AAS is forcing the person not to like me. It's the same thing. When you go hiking, you ever go hiking? I go hiking. And there are signs. The rattlesnakes are in this direction. Stay out of that area. So what do? We go and we wear socks that come mid to the ankle, and we don't go where the rattlesnake signs are. Now, there are times when we think we hear a rattlesnake and we turn around and go in the other direction. If you snake somebody and they decide not to rock with you, that's your fault. That's got nothing to do with me. If you decide to ignore the fact that someone snaked you, that's your business too. That still has nothing to do with me. This is the third grade playground special. I'm not the one calling Zoom meetings and trying to force people, you better decide between us and AAS. What kind of garbage? I don't even know people like this. Yes, snakes are everywhere. Hi, how are you doing? See you in Walmart. Hi, how are you doing? How's your mom, dad? And I keep on walking. I don't invite the snakes to my house. I don't go over to their house. I don't hang out with them, but I may say hello. But in these parts, I avoid snakes altogether because there is no chance encounter. We are allowed to block the snakes, but the snakes don't like that. They get very angry. The connivers and the backstabbers and the losers and the abusers and the ones like to threaten you, threaten to perpetrate the most violent crimes and de-exist you. They want you to talk to them. You got a serious problem if you're pursuing someone who doesn't want anything to do with you. You have the problem. Absolutely will never get me to internalize that it's my problem. If only I just talked to this person. No. Just like the snake signs, when we go hiking, the snakes are there, I go in the opposite direction. If you are one of those who really thinks you're making a big dent, you are upsetting me or other people, you think that your harassment is going unnoticed, you're free to continue thinking that. Why? I want to check in with, let me see your handcuffs. Who thought she was home free? And there are others. Certain subjects are trying to obtain something that actually doesn't even exist. They want to get some level of respect. But if they're fighting for respect here, what you think's going on off YouTube? Is you got to come to YouTube and fight for respect? Come on, have a clue, people. I'm not, quote, fighting for any respect. I see a situation, either I'm going to address it or I'm going to leave. And if I address it and somebody is foul and disrespectful about it, I'm gone. I'm asserting my position. I'm not waiting around or begging for people to respect me. I'm just not going to deal with those subjects. Then I move on. It's easy for me to be done with the situation. But that's a skill that a lot of subjects in and around this Umar Johnson space don't have. Some people just say a couple things and they're done with it. Then there are others who continue for years harassing targets. And then they can't seem to figure out, oh my God, I'm in trouble. What happened? Oh my God, I'm being stalked. I'm being harassed. No, you were the ones engaging and they know it. They know it. They're just trying to convince the powers to be that they're innocent, but the track record is clear. Oh, speaking of track like and run around, where is the victory lap of Catherine Brown, who supposedly took down me, AAS, and AFW, and everyone else? If somebody achieved such a accomplishment. Now, these are the words of this obvious, I am married to a child abuser, convicted child abuser, loves to run out there. It's actually called victory crap. We're expecting a victory, ended up crapping because the federal court sided with us. There was never a case. And what we did is the same thing we're doing now. Those live streams were copied and we were ready to unload our evidence, but she couldn't even make the bare minimum standard for the lawsuit to get past the initial stages. 8 months later, no activity. There is no victory lap except for what AFW has taken over and over and over again. That's why these demons and these backstabbers and these connivers and these treacherous snakes can't stand us. That's your problem, not ours. And those who don't have the guts to kick these idiots to the curb when they harass you about being part of a group that denotes you're not a part of. That just goes to show the spineless dealing with the spineless. People, you know I have a lot more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.